Book your driving lesson now at dla-driving.co.uk. Sponsored by DLA Driving Schools.
Hello and welcome to Owen the Town. Another night under the lights as Luton face West Bromwich Albion, which may not have delighted some of the TV viewers, but the Hatters managed to have a better second half, I would say, and bag the point from the Baggies, which is no less than I think we deserve. And actually, I think we should have had all 3 points. We'll see what the lads think shortly. We all asked you this week, can Rob turn things around? And for risk of repeating myself, I think he can. We'll see what the lads think shortly. As usual, we have your 3-word reviews and much, much more. And if you're watching on YouTube as normal, you will see we're back to a full house. It's nice to see you all back, fellas. We've got Darren, Bataro and Steve. Nearly forgot Bataro's name there. Did you notice?
It's good that Dave's got to look at us to remember who's in his company.
I've not even been drinking, Steve. You know.
Well, that's what the problem is.
That's the age.
Yeah. Look, it was a valuable point in the end.
Yeah.
I think we could have had all 3. I think we made more opportunities in the second half. What are you thinking, guys?
I think that's probably fair enough. I thought overall it was a game lacking any sort of quality. I thought both sides, loads of injuries, but I don't know about West Brom, but you could just see that there was a fragility with Luton's confidence, and it wasn't much of a spectacle.
Are you in agreement with that, Darren?
Yeah. I'm struggling to remember the game. It was that boring, wasn't it? It was dreadful. It was a dreadful game. But yeah, like Steve says, both teams were quite weakened.
Sorry to interrupt you. Good to see Mengi back in the team and play like he did. I thought he played quite solidly.
Yeah, and Bell. It was one of those ones where the team lineup came out. We were either going to have to pick who's playing where, or I'd say a couple of surprises. I don't know whether we were really that surprised we saw Bell and Mengi. Maybe both of them. Maybe we were expecting one.
And the amount of minutes that they got as well.
Yeah, because I didn't think they were going to get through the 90. So it is great, and maybe that helped us.
Do you reckon the medical staff might have been a little bit anxious about the amount of time they got?
Oh, no, I don't know. They wouldn't have risked them, would they, if they didn't think they could play some?
And I think Robbie Edwards sort of hinted to a degree of we have to put them in.
We had those injury problems, and we've had them for a while, haven't we? And Batara, you'll be the first to say that, sometimes you've got to take a risk, haven't you?
The fact of the matter is we haven't got many players to choose from at the back, have we? So if they've got a couple of weeks fitness in them, then why not? But like I said, my main positive for me was Amari Bell, because this guy for me is very effective when he plays. And he gives us something different out the back, and it's a bit more agility, a bit more...
balance.
It is balance because the left footer.
Yeah.
And that's it. But yeah, I mean, like you say, it wasn't the best of the games. It was pretty poor. I feel like we had quite a lot of the ball without really hurting them or doing much with it. So yeah, it is what it is. We'll take a point, I think.
You say it's not a pretty game. We're playing one of the top 5 teams in the division at the start of the day. When we played them, they were in the top 5, weren't they? I know. They are decimated with injuries, West Brom. They were decimated with injuries. There was a few of their guys out. Mm-hmm. This was a major opportunity for us to grab it and get 3 points, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they were in the top 5, but they're really on a downward trajectory at the moment, because of injuries. Yeah. But apparently they've not been playing well as well. So it was an opportunity for us, but I don't think we really looked like winning it. I think one of the Sky commentators said it's a game where no one deserved to win.
Yeah.
I think that's fairly accurate, to be honest with you.
I disagree. However, I was going to ask Darren, the atmosphere in the ground, it was sort of a little bit off, wasn't it?
It's not quite there at the moment.
No.
I think we said about the same about Coventry, even the away game. Steve, you remember? I don't think the atmosphere is there. I know Rob's coming out and saying we need you to be great so we can be great. But
I think it's a both ways thing.
I think it is, but ultimately I think it stems from the team. I think if the team are great, we will be great, and it just seems we need it that way round rather than the other way round at the moment.
Nervous tension, I think, as well, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. On the Rico Arena, it has always been like that. It's one of those grounds. I don't know if it's because you've got that huge bank of nothing on the left-hand side, but it's always been like that. The first time we went, which was way back when McSheffrey was playing, we took thousands there, and it was still a dead atmosphere. I think it's just one of those grounds, to be honest with you.
I don't just feel at the moment as well. I don't think people. We were talking about it last week, Dave. I don't think people are that excited to go to the football at the moment. So you're not going in there with I'm going to sing my heart out tonight. And then,
I'll be honest, I think I do agree with that because honestly, I'm the same. I know it sounds awful. I sometimes sit there and go, "Oh, it's football tonight." But don't get me wrong. Yes, we love it when we're there, but it is trying to get yourself up for the game a little bit more. I think these days, but that comes obviously with the results, isn't it?
Yeah, and the performance on Friday, that game didn't help. You look at it, and it would be sold out again on Wednesday. But I do think people are going, like you said, Patara, going, football again tonight.
Yeah, what we're going to get?
What we're going to get?
That's it.
So I think that's why the crowd. Dave, I think it's that you asked me the question about the crowd, and that's why because I think people aren't turning up excited, so they're not, we'll only get excited after 10 minutes when the lads are playing well, and when they're not, it then just falls flat.
You can't say you was excited Friday night, Dave. You look so bloody miserable, man. We were sat in the pub having a beer. You was having a non-alcoholic Guinness or whatever he was drinking, or a blackcurrant or whatever, but yeah, you weren't exactly excited.
I didn't have any beer there, I'll put it that way.
Is that what it was?
That's not the point, is it?
Sort yourself out.
I'll sort myself out. Let's have a look at your 3-word reviews for Luton Town 1, West Bromwich Albion 1. Hitesh says 1 more point. Paul deserved to win. Greg lacking quality again. Daz support the team. Harry Kraus off. Why? Finley 4 backs better. Johnny Hash's brilliant performance. Alex better second half, and Craig papering over the cracks. So you can take one each, fellas. We'll start with Bataro tonight.
Do you know, I'm going to go for Hash's brilliant performance because I thought he played well. First time I've seen it, I recall seeing him playing his actual position, and he was brilliant. That's what I've got to say on the man. But yeah. Lovely.
What about, I thought Hashi was outstanding. I thought he could have even got man of the match on Friday.
Who did get it, by the way?
Who did get the man of the match? It's just gone out of my brain. It will come back to me in a minute, I'll tell you. But what I was going to say, there's a couple of times when it was Chong, wasn't it? A couple of times when the only criticism you could have of Hashi there was he could have delivered a few crosses just a tiny bit better. Other than that, he was all over and he was really good. And I thought probably his best performance in a Luton shirt.
Well, like you say, playing his natural possession as well.
But the only thing missing was that crossing. I think 2 or 3 times he had a real good opportunity to cross, and he didn't quite get them in correctly. But, I can see we've got a player there from that performance. But previously, he was all over the show, wasn't he?
I think he's calmed himself down a little bit. The excitement's gone. He's settled down. He does the basics. He certainly did the basics the other night. He's not going to dribble it out of defence and beat players. He picks the easiest option out. He gets his tackle in, gets the easiest option out. Sometimes gets up the line. Like you said, Dave, if he can just get that little bit more quality of a cross into the box, then we've got a bit of a player on our hands.
Surely they'll come anyway with game time as well. So
I feel that was his best game in a Luton shirt, but again, not a lot to sort of beat it. But hopefully he can take some confidence from it, and we can start to see more of what he's about.
Genuinely thought he looked strong on the ball. Generally thought he looked strong on the tackle, and I generally thought he was really up for the game. So well done.
I thought his confidence was
absolutely
through the roof as well.
Best we've seen. Steve, what's yours?
Kraus off. Why? Unlucky, Darren. Basically, he was furious. He was so influential. Again, he was sort of getting tackles in, sort of stretching in and nicking the ball away. He was the only one, particularly first half, really showing some quality on the ball. He was very composed. He was picking passes out. People on Sky said, he's the best player on the pitch by a country mile. He certainly didn't look injured when he was taken off, and he was furious. He threw his tracksuit on the floor and everything. And I totally agree. I think we lost a lot when he went off.
3-game week may have some influence on that. Kraus and
Did Clark play all three?
You can't.
Kraus and Walsh.
I'm sorry, Dave. You can't take man of the match. He was man of the match at the time he took him off.
He was brilliant, wasn't he?
And there's plenty of other players in that midfield that could have come off, and we wouldn't have depleted ourselves.
All I'm going to say is Kraus was replaced by Walsh. Different players, different types of players. And after the substitution, we scored. Anyway, Darren, what about you?
Well, I was going to go with Kraus off. Why? Because mind-boggling.
Yeah.
And it's probably the first time, or for a long time, I've audibly heard a boo on a substitution like that. And I just found that bizarre. Look, I haven't been Klicker's biggest fan this season. I'm just astonished, absolutely astonished he went that way around. And Dave, you're right, a little bit of a different player. And actually, I think once Baptiste settled into that second half, he looked good, and then Walsh came on, and actually the midfield three looked okay.
He does look good on the ball, Baptiste. He just seems to sort of hold himself well. You're expecting a good pass to be made.
But I think,
ticking,
but then you go, okay, well, Baptiste is pulling the strings a little bit. Walsh looked comfortable on the ball, passed it around and everything. If I sit here and say Kraus or Clark, I don't know, but I'd imagine most of us would go Kraus. I just can't believe he took him off. So that's why I would have gone Kraus off. Why? And Edwards isn't helping himself. He isn't helping himself because I think we've got to be careful of woe is me, because he's pre-match interview.
He looked like a broken man, didn't he?
He had his elbow on the table, his hand his head in his hands.
Yeah,
going, we just couldn't deal with Coventry. We had no answer. It looked miserable. The post-match interview, he went, well, look at me. That's why I look like this. I think you've got to be careful of the woe is me kind of thing, because it rubs off on the players and everything else. So you think, okay, well, let's do something positive. And as I said, he took the man of the match off at a time where we were trying to get back into the game. And I'm thinking, well, you're not helping yourself.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stick with my Kraus off. Why for the 3-word review? Because I think it was okay. It worked out
tactically. It worked. Tactically.
It
so you can't really have a go at a manager.
What do you mean tactically? Yeah, just because Chong broke the ball and scored.
Because afterwards we scored.
Yeah, but
it's all changes.
But it's all
it's not relevant.
So it is relevant. Totally relevant.
Dave. If
you can't have a go at a manager for making a substitution, you can't have a go at a manager for making a substitution because after he made the subs, the team played differently and we scored.
If Clark had come off and Kraus stayed on, we may have won 2-1. You don't. It's all ifs and buts, isn't it?
But that goal had nothing to do.
I'm just sitting there taking a sip of my beer and sitting back watching you guys.
That goal had nothing to do with the substitution.
I disagree, but there we go.
Well,
I can disagree.
You can justify it though.
I'm not going
because what did Walsh have to do with that goal?
He was around. That's all I'm going to say. But the point is, it plays a bit different, doesn't it? The booing. I don't like the booing of the substitution.
Totally agree.
I think that's a bit off. I know every fan is frustrated because we're not playing as well as we did last season-ish against the top teams, or the season before when we was really, really going for it. And we turn up at Kenilworth Road, you knew you were in for a good game. It was a turgid game on Friday. It was terrible, first half in particular. But, to not back the lads and not back the manager in this situation, surely that's putting more and more pressure on the team.
Can I put my 5 pence worth in quickly? I will agree, though. I do think it was a shocking decision to take Kraus off, though. It was.
Whether it was or wasn't, I mean, okay, that's what. So you'd stand in the stands. You would stand in Kenilworth Road and boo that.
I wouldn't boo it. No.
I
wouldn't be happy. I wasn't happy, but I don't boo, Dave. I don't boo because obviously that for me is just negative energy that you players can't be feeding off.
But maybe when you look at the difference, look at the difference in the way that and the style that the players play, whether he was being man of the match or not, maybe the change in the personnel changed the way the midfield were playing a little bit.
I know what you're saying. You'll never ever know.
They're different types of player.
Yeah, of course they are. But
so maybe that Rob tactically thought that was a good opportunity to put him in there.
I mean, whatever he thinks, that's fine. So I'm not a manager. I don't know. But what I will say is, Kraus was having a great game.
I'm not disputing that. I'm not disputing that.
You could take off Clark for Walsh, for
Yeah,
example.
that's what makes more sense. Walsh coming on for Clark because they are similar kind of player in many aspects.
Well, we've not even spoke about the game yet.
Yeah,
15
sorry,
minutes in here.
Well, that's part of the game we're speaking about now. But yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, I don't know the reason behind it. Obviously, only Rob Edwards will know. But
Listen,
Christ,
we're all
well, so-
fantastic managers from the stands, and I think that's easy for me to say because you can all agree. However, we don't see what goes on in training camps. We don't see what
course,
goes on in the
course.
tactics room. We don't see any of that. So you watch the game, you look at the game, and you assess the game as you see it.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree.
And none of us are professionals.
Yeah, no, and you often sort of have that stance, Dave, and I admire you for it, and it's absolutely fine. However, based on what we have seen, an awful lot of people will think that it was the wrong substitution, and the goal didn't happen because of that substitution.
Well, it happened post that substitution.
Yeah, it wasn't because of the substitution.
You can't prove that.
You can't prove otherwise.
Ergo, I'm right.
Next game.
Let's get going. Oh, God. I wish I was drinking now. 2 changes from the game at Coventry. Bell and Mengi in for Holmes and Doughty. Obviously, Holmes and Doughty both suspended. And it's just a bit strange. I thought we started okay. We was on it, but we weren't creating much at all. I can't remember when the first chance was. I think it was probably... it was forever, wasn't it? Waiting forever.
24 minutes, it says.
24 minutes, yeah. And... Morris and Addy Bay up the front were running their socks off, but just not getting anything out of it, were we?
Yeah, Morris is such a handful. He, even if he's not sort of contributing on the goals, he's always doing a great target man, leading the line. And that, I think that was something we were saying when Elijah was struggling and not scoring, he wasn't really offering he wasn't being like a pain in the arse to the defenders and that, whereas Morris...
He's so aggressive with it, yeah.
The very least he's doing is being an absolute nightmare for him to deal with.
It's the way he backs it. Sorry, Dave.
Go
I was about to say it's the way he backs into a player as well.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
almost like, I am here, you will feel my presence kind of thing, do you know what I mean?
Here we go. Going to talk about the middlemen again. What annoyed me a little bit on the night, and you talk about Morris backing in, for instance, and he puts his arms back. He puts his arms around.
Yeah.
But he had his shirt tugged off his back more than once, nothing was given. Did you see any of that going on? Because I saw it clearly.
You do see it all the
There are
time,
fouls.
But I totally agree. But I actually thought the referee was excellent. I thought he was excellent because he let everything go. He just wanted it to have a game of football. He clearly let a few, sort of 50-50s go and everything for both teams. And actually, I bet if you looked how many times he blew up for a foul, it'd be minimal. He let the game of football flow. And I think he set out early saying, just crack on, lads.
And to be fair though, I mean, Morris, when he does back into a play, he does use his body quite a lot as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that, but
That's
obviously,
exactly how you should.
If a player wants obviously to defend, as a defender, you can also put yourself into a position where, actually, no, mate, you're not going anywhere. Because the thing is, if you let a centre forward bully you, you're going to go flying backwards, aren't you? So I kind of get it. If a player puts their hand on them or gives them a little tug of the shirt, look, it's football at the end of the day. It's a contact sport. Well,
So
sometimes not. But
Sometimes
sometimes it isn't. But you know what I mean. But yeah,
the first half was so poor and so bereft of opportunities and any good opportunities that there's not a lot more to say about it apart from the worst bit when I turned to the person standing next to me and go, well, at least we should get in at 0-0. And as soon as I said that, I looked up and there was that, well, it was a good flick. It was a good, opportune way of scoring, but,
did he mean it?
Did he mean it? I think he did.
I think he meant it, but yeah.
But, from your view in the Kenilworth Road end, Darren, did you see anything else that we could have maybe stopped the cross, for instance, or was it just a really good goal?
We said about the second goal at Coventry where it was a bit schoolboy-ish defending, where they all rushed the player. 3 of them went to the same player, and the guy that put it in was unmarked. I think it was McGuinness and Mengi. Actually, if you think of it, those two probably haven't played much football together.
No.
And they both went for the same header, didn't they, and got in each other's way. So that was a little bit. I mean, I think Morris got the initial header out. Great clearance from the corner or the long throw or whatever it was. So yeah, when that came back in, they got in each other's way. I think Mengi was a bit of a half-hearted tackle. He sort of half turned his body and half went in. But look, What was it? Was it Madger?
Yeah, it just felt like another soft goal.
It was the most slow motion goal I've ever seen in my life. You knew it was going in, and there's nothing. I think if as a collective, as a stand, if we'd blown hard enough, the ball may not have gone over the line. Do you know what I mean? It was so slow, but nobody could get near it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame because me and my big mouth, and we go in 1-0 down, and I didn't think that was deserved at all.
No.
But then you're wondering how we're going to start the second half. Well, Shandon comes on, Moses goes off, and we still didn't. I think we were a little bit stronger in the second half. Patari, would you agree with that?
Look, I think there was many moments in the second half where they couldn't even get out of their own third as such, or even their half. But like I said before at the beginning of the pod, I said we struggled to actually really damage them. We didn't do anything with it. You could be in their final third. The ball, the quality of the delivery was not good enough. There was nothing. There was not enough movement up there. There was no sort of like, what's the word, trying to break the lines. It was always very much flat.
Yeah.
Do you know, I do moan. Surprise, surprise, I moan. But with Doughty taking all the set pieces, it gets a bit tedious. And I've often said about mixing it up, but you can kind of see now why Doughty takes them because
there you go. There we go.
Yeah, because actually, I think we had a bit of a mixture. I think Moses took some, and whoever else took them, and I don't think they were amazing.
I did see some stat on Sky. It was something like Doughty's taken 134 and the next person was 3 and then there's a couple of that taken 1 exactly. You know, it's just ridiculous, but he does invariably always deliver quality. But I think there is an argument, and you know, you got to say, as a professional footballer, if you can't deliver from a dead ball, then maybe you're stealing a living.
Yeah, I guess so. No, he's got a point. You've got a point, to be fair, because you should be able to sort of like hit a dead ball from anywhere.
Yeah.
Or actually, anyway, so where you want to live.
Yeah, Baptiste took him in the second half, and you put one over the crossbar, didn't he? At least get it. I know what they're trying to do, pop it on top of the keeper, but don't kick it straight out.
Was it Baptiste for Hashioka as well in the second half? Obviously, we haven't got to that. I know, so I'm jumping ahead a little bit.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, that was quality, to be fair.
I was just thinking, in any profession, you know, sometimes you make mistakes, don't you? So for me,
you make mistakes in yours, Dave? No.
Well, yeah, occasionally, yeah. and it's terrifying when we do it. I can tell you that. Look, I think we started stronger second half. I thought that we were getting at them better in the second half, and we deserved the break. We deserved the goal. However controversial the changes were made, and a little bit after that, we scored a goal. And I think you can only congratulate Chong for his ability to foresee that pass.
He was straight on it, wasn't he? Pounced on it like a bloody,
Gazelle?
Yeah, I was going to say a leopard then, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, leopard would pounce better than a gazelle, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, he would run like a gazelle, but the leopard would pounce first.
But no, he did do well. He was ready for it. And I do like Chong's directness, you know, and whether he messes up 3 or 4 crosses, he will be direct and he'll go again, you know, so I do like that. It was a lovely shot, but I'll be gutted if my keeper had let that in.
It was a crossing though.
See, I don't know. I think it was a great finish.
It was a good finish, but if you look where it hit the net, it wasn't right in the corner. I would be really gutted if my keeper had let that in from that far out. He was only just inside the penalty area, way over on the angle.
The angle, yeah.
And he didn't get anywhere near it.
But do you think the goalkeeper was a bit shocked by the fact that he shot early?
What, the fact that he controlled the ball?
Well, yeah, as well.
No.
Oh, wow, Luton Town and
they've had a shot.
Yeah, no, he did take it early, and maybe that did catch him sort of unawares, but regardless, the keeper should be ready for it, and I thought it was poor from the keeper.
I'm right in saying that's the keeper we had on loan for a few games. It was, wasn't it? Yeah.
And he looked good when he was with us, and I think when we got Kaminsky, I think we were offering every championship team $2.5 million for a keeper, and you know, but I think we were close to getting him, but the West Brom manager stepped in and said, "No, we can't afford for this to happen." So.
He couldn't kick it, could he? He kicked it out.
Oh, he kicked it out loads, didn't he? And he got a lot of grief for that. And long may that continue. I'll tell you what I found strange about the goal, and it might be because I'm going a little bit deaf, but it seemed like the ground cheered in 2 different moments. So it's the first time, and I might be wrong, but it's the first time I've heard Kenilworth Road sort of cheer the goal before my side of the stadium cheered it. That's how it felt.
Maybe over on the left-hand side, as you're sitting or standing in the Kenilworth, a lot of them would have seen it really early that the keeper was nowhere near it.
Yeah, and it looked like, it just felt like that. I don't know if it sounded like that to anyone else, but it did to me. And then I thought, there's only one team that's going to push on from here, and that's us. And we did create a couple more chances, didn't we? We had a couple more opportunities to score. We had there was one from Chong, wasn't it? Chong or oh no, what about the penalty incident? I forgot about that. For me, there's a big shout for handball.
Jesus Christ! Yes, Stonewall.
That's a penalty, isn't
Stonewall. Oh, don't. No, I'm not going to say anything. So I swear. But yeah.
Who wants to take that one? Darren,
me and Steve are looking at each other, so we haven't reacted as you two did. I at the time, because we're down that end, I thought, oh, that's a penalty.
Was it a push?
Brown gave him a little bit of a push.
Right, okay. That's I want to clear that up. That's okay. That's
he did give him a little bit of a push.
But he didn't give a free kick for the push, so it wasn't a push.
But still.
Yeah, well, but I feel that because of the push, his arm was naturally sort of going that way anyway, and it connected. It wasn't an intentional handball. Thank God there isn't VAR, but if there had have been, it would have been a free kick to them for the push.
Yeah, I agree.
See, I did think that at first. I thought it was like a slight push, but I couldn't tell if it was like a slight nudge. Did they come together or what?
I don't know if it was a nudge. I think it was more of a shove.
I have to look at it again.
I've not watched it back. I haven't seen the Sky commentary for it all.
They dismissed it very quickly.
Yep.
It's a penalty.
He's on fun tonight.
Nice one. Luton Town blinkers, Dave.
I love those. Yeah, I'm going to get another pair for Christmas as well. Chong had another go, didn't he? Had another shot saved by Palmer. Hashioka hit the crossbar.
Off the header.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good movement again. Crossbar post, woodwork, whatever you want to call it.
Plastic work, metal work, yeah.
And then, at that point you're thinking it's not going to happen, is it?
No.
They're going to get another chance and we're going to get absolutely done.
Sucker punched.
Yeah. And we nearly did, to be fair, didn't we? Was it late on with an overhead kick or something like that, was it?
But I think that says a lot, Dave. I think there's a lot of Luton fans that are sort of waiting for that sucker punch. They're waiting for that bad thing to happen, and it's sort of probably based on, not huge confidence.
It's based on previous knowledge, isn't it? Because when we've been this poor in the past, it's always happened. We get back in the game and we sit back or we defend too deep. But if you don't take your chances, you're going to get punished. And we've been punished so many times this season when we could have got a better result.
Well, like you said there, Steve, obviously Luton fans were waiting for it to happen. I'll be honest, so was I.
I think that the second half at Coventry really knocked the stuffing out of me. The defeat, but also the manner of it. And I was just... oh my God, I thought this isn't good. So, I think you're saying the fans weren't going excited about the game. I think a lot of them had just been sort of had their enthusiasm sort of hit by sort of performances like that. So yeah, you're waiting for it to happen, aren't you?
The saddest thing is that there are a lot of people asking for the manager to go, and that's on social media. We can only say there's an element of our fans that don't want the manager there anymore. You can't say that it's a full representation of the whole people that support Luton Town. But can Rob turn this around, Batari? What are you thinking?
I mean, there's nothing to say he can't. I mean, of course, but he just needs to be a bit more positive in himself, doesn't he? I feel like he's so down, and it's just...
I'm genuinely worried about him.
We all love the guy, man. He's a bit of a hero, let's face it. He is a hero. But he's just giving that whole negative energy off at the moment. And I'm not saying I don't like it. I mean, maybe it's like a psychological thing for him. I don't know.
A couple of good wins and he feels better, and a couple of good wins, the squad feels better, the fans feel better, and then he can take it through.
Does he know something that we don't? I don't know.
What does John still say? Never too high, never too low. But Edwards is both.
He's broken at the moment. He looks completely broken.
I think he is, Steve, and I am concerned. In this world where we live, where we're, especially around football, where
the scrutiny
and everything, but where men speak up. If you're unwell or you're not right, speak up. You got this. Is it Mind? That we had on shirts and stuff. I'm genuinely worried about him, and You just think it's not the done thing. Look, if someone is struggling at work or whatever, you might say, look, I need to have a week off, 2 weeks off. Football managers can't do that.
No.
We've had football managers recently that have lost family members, close family members, and they have a week off, one game off.
Yeah.
You know, if Rob's struggling, okay, we've got an international break coming up, but does the board have to look at it, or does someone have to look at it and go, for your own sake, for the club's sake, you need to go and have a week or 2 weeks off here? Because you're right, Steve, he looks absolutely broken.
And there's enough coaches as well that the club have employed to, maybe just shoulder things, for a little bit, if he is indeed in that place.
Yeah, it's all speculation though, isn't it? And
but again, we're just going on what we see.
I watched his post-match interview, and they were saying how are you doing everything, and he says, well, why do you think I look like this? His eyes were so heavy and everything. It's just someone
been on the source with Dave, hasn't he, mate?
No, but someone help the man, because look, we all want him to turn it around. Do I think he can turn it around? Well, when you're taking Kraus off and you're not giving Taylor a go or whatever, well, he's being a bit stubborn and his own worst enemy at times. Do I think he can turn it around? I'm not sure, but I'd love him to do it. But I think he needs some help from someone. Even if the board can come out and say something in support, whatever. But
they're not going to do that.
No,
it's a difficult one. And again, you bring up the Joe Taylor situation. Should we play? Shouldn't he be playing? My answer is we just don't know. We don't know what's happening. And I have to say that
there's got to be reasons for it. Sure,
and I know. We said it on several podcasts, and we said last week, if you don't give him a go, how do we know that he's not good enough? He scored 10 goals last season for whoever he was at. Was it Lincoln?
Lincoln.
He was leading goal scorer for Chesterfield Colchester, and leading goal scorer for Lincoln.
Yeah.
For their whole seasons, and he had half a season each.
Yeah,
I think he got 12. Was it 12 and 14 or something like that, or whatever?
Well,
he knows where the goal is. Whatever level it is, he knows where the goal is. You've got to give him some minutes, surely, because the players out there aren't doing any different.
Yeah. I remember years and years ago, me and my brother, we'd be sort of watching the scores coming in. We're talking donkeys years ago, and Grimsby had a striker called Clive Mendonca, and I think he was Division 4, but he was scoring week in, week out, and we were saying, look, he's obviously a goal scorer. He went to Charlton, he went up through the divisions, and he carried on doing it. A goal scorer is a goal scorer. Obviously, there's levels, but he knows where people will know where the goal is, and they know how to take an opportunity. I thought Carl Griffiths, when he was with us in that small period of time, natural goal scorer, but he got injured, which was a real shame. So if he's a goal scorer, then I think he will take up the position.
Would you be surprised, Bataro, if Taylor left us in January permanently?
I mean, if he's not getting game time, I think he needs to leave on loan, at least. Because
on loan, I'm saying permanently. Because will he go? Will his agent and him want him to go on loan?
Possibly.
Given the fact he's not getting a chance.
This is the thing. I mean, I don't know what the plans are for Joe Taylor. How old is he now? 20.
He's quite young. He's still quite young.
Is he not even?
I don't even think he's that. No.
Is he not?
No, he's still quite young.
I mean, yeah, like you say, he's still a kid. Obviously, you want to protect him a slight bit, but I do think he needs to go out and play some games for whoever it is. If it's us or another team,
I
League
think
One,
if he leaves this time, then it's for good. I don't think he's coming back.
I mean, like you say, when you see him play, obviously not for us, we don't see him play for us, but when you see him play for, like say, Colchester last season, Lincoln, yeah, I watched him a couple of times last season, and do you know what? He is a good player, to be fair. But
the amount of times he sort of had the ball and sort of broke and just ran at them, very, very direct. He sort of type of player.
He came on at Wembley. A young lad. Okay, scored
and took a pen.
But to step up and take that penalty,
should have passed though.
He would have saved the hassle. But the boy's got something about him, and like I said, Edwards has got to help himself a little bit. They say they don't listen to social media and everything, but they must know there's a bit of a call out for it. How about on Friday, instead of putting Brown on at that stage, put Taylor on and get the crowd going?
The only thing I can think of is the fact of maybe off the ball, maybe he's not as good as certain players. That's the only thing I can think of, because obviously you know what his qualities are, like the goal scorer, like say any level goal scorer. I do agree with that comment, by the way. It is true. But there's obviously something there that the manager's not liking maybe in a separate part of his game. That's the only thing I can think of.
I hear what you're saying, Batara, and it is the line that is used quite a lot, about what he does when he hasn't got the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't tell me that Jacob Brown and Corley Woodrow are prolific pressers and influence a game in that manner, because they don't.
I don't know. Jacob Brown presses quite well.
I don't.
What side? No?
Well, don't say he doesn't run around a lot. I wouldn't say that he presses in a manner that causes trouble to the opposition.
I see what you're saying.
And certainly Woodrow doesn't.
No, I mean, I can agree with that one. But look, who knows? Maybe there's got to be something there. Surely there's got to be a reason. I don't know. But
our next 5 games are quite daunting. Cardiff next. They're on a bit of a good run, aren't they?
Yes.
They've not lost for. I think they're on 6 wins or 1 in 6 they've lost or something like that. Something around those. Cardiff, Middlesbrough, who just lost and got battered by our friends down the road, Watford. 6. No, that was Sheffield Wednesday.
That's Sheffield Wednesday.
So who beat them then? It was they lost, didn't they, the weekend? Middlesbrough lost.
Yeah,
the weekend.
they lost. Oh, they
Sheffield Wednesday. I can't believe that result, by the way.
No.
Sheffield Wednesday score.
They lost 6-2 to Watford at Sheffield Wednesday at Hillsborough.
I mean, I was in bed Saturday afternoon. So
I think did they have 1 sent off early on? Anyway, it's not a Watford.
But Cardiff, Borough, Hull, Leeds, Norwich. How many do you see us getting out of that?
Maximum points.
2 points.
Oh man.
Right. Let's be positive.
Well, you can see mine there, Dave. 6 or 7.
Oh, okay, 6 or 7. I'll take that.
What I would say, the next 2, and football's a strange thing. Now, if I remember rightly, was Edward's first game?
Yeah.
Middlesbrough away.
It was.
If he doesn't get result Wednesday and doesn't get result Saturday, that could be his last game.
Borough start and finish,
because it's going into an international break, isn't it? And that may just be the time. Football is strange like that. However, I'd like to. I'm going to be bold in my score prediction, which we'll get to in a bit. But I think if we get 6 or 7 points out of those, we'll still be doing okay.
Good.
I've got us to get 8 points.
Okay, brilliant.
Next 5.
I like all this.
How many points you got there, Dave?
How many games you got? 1, 2, 3, 4.
No.
I'm hoping for at least 6, maybe 7. I think we've got to win our home game to see what we can get anyway. I can't see us getting a result at Leeds. I can't see us getting a result at Norwich. Norwich don't lose that many times at home. I don't think they've lost at home for a long time.
About a year, isn't it? No, is it?
Yeah, but they did lose at the weekend to Cardiff.
Away.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. They were 1-0 up and playing, and they lost. Cardiff are on a big roll here. We've got a really big game on.
They lost in the last 2 minutes. They were 1-0 up until the 89th minute or something.
Yeah, crazy.
See, I'll be honest. Form doesn't bother me, in football. It really doesn't. Form to me is irrelevant.
This league is nuts.
Yeah,
it is. I know we always say it, but it is absolutely nuts. When you think, I don't think Sunderland were that great. Watford weren't great. I thought West Brom were really poor, and they're 3 of the highest teams in the league we've played. Yeah,
crazy.
We made Plymouth look world beaters.
Yeah, exactly.
Wayne Rooney's Plymouth.
Just going back quickly to can Rob Edwards turn it around? Yeah. I think as it stands at the moment, he probably won't over the next sort of few months, because I feel, again, going back to what Darren said, I think that he's really broken. And I don't think he has clarity of thought, and I just don't think that things are easy for him. And I think he almost just can't see it at the moment, because it's just got so chaotic on him. So I hope that he can turn it around, because I certainly don't want him to go. But I just think that based on what we've seen, I don't think he's going to be able to.
Okay, we've got a couple of moments to just go through what you said when we asked, can Rob turn this situation around? And how many points are we getting out of the next 5 games, if you really want to put that on there as well. Loyal Hatter D says 7 points would be great, more likely to be 5 unless we can get settled in defence. As long as the performances are good, then Edwards deserves more time to turn it around. This is a really tough run of games, especially with Cardiff's pick up on form. Jordan, if Rob can get settled defence and players in their proper positions with Bell staying fit, we will win games. And you can't really argue with that.
I think Bell is key, by the way.
Yeah,
for us.
JG might be plaster over the cracks, but if we finish more of our chances, we wouldn't be losing drawing games. We aren't clinical enough, so constantly on our toes when a team gets a chance against us, because we don't know if we can get back from it. It's pretty much what we just said, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Stephen, can he? Yes. Will he? Doubt it. I hope I'm wrong, though. On the points, a decent result would be 9, but I can't see us getting more than 4. Again, I hope to be proved wrong. Steve, that wasn't you, was it?
It wasn't, no.
No, just checking, because that would have been sneaky. Mark says, I don't think the performance will change anyone's mind. Not good enough to convince people that he can turn it around, and not bad enough to warrant more people wanting him gone. Fair enough. And finally, Chris says, I definitely think Rob can turn it around. He needs to change a few things, and he really needs a fit defence for a run of games. We need to be harder to score against. I'm sure with Alfie back, Eli and Carlton will bang them in. Next 5 are tough, but if we have the players back, there is no reason we can't get 8 points. I love the optimism. Me personally, I think Rob can turn it around. And I said at the very beginning, I hope he does. Because, and it's not up to us to say who replaces him, because it's not our decision, it's the board's decision. But you look around and you're thinking, well, if he goes, do you try someone who is recognised as a lot of manager? But who is
but we seldom go for that.
Exactly. So then you put yourself in the same position. And sometimes it's better the devil you know, isn't it?
I don't want this conversation, personally.
No, I'm not saying he's going, but I'm saying if he goes, then you've got to consider what might replace him. And I really, really hope he starts to turn it around. And I hope that starts on Wednesday at Kenilworth Road.
Chris said, we need to be harder to score against. For me, one of the things that will contribute towards that is Nakamba being back in the side.
I just need to go back to the game. I sort of agree with you, because he is a strong player. But there was something on, it might have been Hatters Talk or somewhere like that, where I was reading about someone having a moan at Mengi lying on the floor injured, falling over and he put in a massive tackle in that game, massive, and as he did it, I thought, bloody hell, that would have hurt. And he stood up and sat back down, thought the ball was going out of play. It didn't go out of play. It came back. He had to get up and go again.
Yeah.
And they were saying, well, he was faking it. Not for me.
No.
Not for me. No. And if he plays well, he can be a great player. So I think we should, for want of a phrase, keep the faith.
It's key that Mengi and McGuinness sort of work a partnership together, so they understand each other and work as a duo. You can't just have 2 centre backs. You've got to work as a duo, and I think it's key that they get to really understand each other and what they're going to do.
You say that, Steve. I think for the first time in ages, Rob's got some really big decisions to make for Wednesday night, because Holmes is back. Holmes had 2 great games. Yeah. And I was saying that, like, him and McGuinness were looking like the Bradley Pearson partnership.
Yeah.
The 3-game week. Do you turn around to me and go, right, well, too close? Because these ones are, whoever's put these games together, Wednesday night, 8 o'clock, then you've got to travel all the way across the country for a half 12 Saturday. It is a joke, Pataro. That's where the changes are going to have to be made. So they say take 1 game at a time. There's no way they'll be going, right,
you got to think of 2
you're going to do games. This one, then you're going to do that one. But with Doughty back, I think Rob's got some big decisions to make for Wednesday.
Do you know what? I'll be honest, I'm going to throw it out there as well. Holmes, I think you should start ahead of Mengi.
Well, that's kind of where I was going.
I think you should.
Yeah,
I think he came in. He looked quite comfortable. He looked very good. He wanted to win the ball.
Or it could well be one would be playing Wednesday, the other one would be playing Saturday.
Yeah. And obviously Mengi's just come back and resident from a couple of weeks out, a few weeks out, or whatever. So you know what, it makes sense to do that, but a lot of people be sitting there going, nah, what are you talking about, get Mengi in? Do you know what, I'll be honest, when I've seen Mengi this season, I've not been impressed, so I've got to throw it out there.
But all right, there's a level of wisdom about that which surprises me.
Thank you very much. That's what it is. Well, boys, I've had a good night's sleep last night, that's what it is.
I'll tell you what, you've been banging on it tonight.
Right, point of order here now, fellas. Talking about Wednesday.
My tablets are kicking in, that's what it is.
Talking about Wednesday, my score prediction for Wednesday is 3-1 to Luton. What's yours, Steve? Take your time.
2-2.
2-2. 2-2.
Wow. Desmond.
Yeah.
3-1 to Luton.
I just said that.
Yeah, well, I can have it as well. So
okay.
Get lost.
So Darren said he's got a score that might surprise us. If he's voting for Cardiff again, he's definitely not coming back.
Well, no, he's going to surprise us, so he's going for a Luton win.
No, honestly, I think Edwards has got some decisions to make. I think this is it. I'm gonna be positive, boys.
Right.
This is it.
I don't know if I like this, Darren.
Wednesday night, our season starts, and I was going to say 3-1, but you two chose it.
Go for it.
No. I'll go for 4-1. We're gonna win. We are gonna win 4-1. Everything's gonna click. Everything apart from clicker. Everything's gonna click on. Everything's gonna click on Wednesday night.
Okay.
And it's gonna be our night.
Wow.
Well, McGuinness is going to want to play really well.
Yes.
And he's going to really want to score. So we'll
Wow.
see.
Well, let's see what happens Wednesday night under the lights again. Get behind the boys, of course. If you're watching on YouTube and you haven't already, please like and subscribe. It goes a long way for us. And if you're listening on the other platforms, if you'd like to switch across to YouTube, that'd be really cool as well. And just give it a like and a subscribe. Look out for our very brief Cardiff preview, and that'll be out almost simultaneously with this one. And we'll be back next week. And good luck. And we've got a Middlesbrough preview as well, so that's all good going. So we'll see you soon. Thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and thanks for subscribing.
Thank
See
you,
soon.
everyone.